Welcome, educators. So, how do we actually build a true house of learning? A place that helps our students escape that rote memorization trap we often call the learning pit? Well, today we are jumping right into a brand new explainer based on a fantastic source titled Different Approaches to Developing Conceptual Understanding, Scholar GPT Chat. And throughout this explainer, we're going to compare and contrast the different approaches to teaching for conceptual understanding. Let's get right to it. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our blueprint for today. We're going to move beyond rote memorization, look at Erickson's curriculum architecture, and then check out Stern's focus on transfer. After comparing those two approaches, we'll expand our teaching toolbox and finally piece the whole shebang together into a combined classroom model.
Starting off with Section 1, Beyond Rote Memorization, or Why Facts Just Aren't Enough. If facts, like say specific dates of a revolution, are the bricks, then concepts are the mortar that holds them all together.
And this brilliantly illustrates our point. Unequal access to power can lead to conflict and social change. When you look at that, it shows exactly how specific historical facts can build into a massive, powerful conceptual generalization. If a student really grasps this statement, they aren't just memorizing what happened in one random revolution. No, they can take this mortar and apply it to a completely different historical era, a political movement, literature, or even, a modern workplace dispute. It's totally flexible.
Moving on to Section 2, Erickson's curriculum architecture, the macro view. Let's think of Lynn Erickson as the master architect who designs the top-down framework.
So what's in Erickson's approach? Well, her blueprint starts with factual knowledge, layers on key concepts, and then finds the relationships between them to build conceptual generalizations. It relies heavily on asking debatable questions and fostering inductive thinking. Now, I know jargon like synergistic thinking might make your head spin a little bit. It definitely does mine. But at its core, this architecture is really just about organizing instructional units logically around meaningful ideas instead of just delivering a random series of activities.
Next up is Section 3, Stern's focus on transfer, the microview. If Erickson is our architect, Julie Stern is the interior designer or on-site manager who makes those blueprints actually work on a busy Tuesday morning.
Stern's primary focus is all about this definition of transfer. It's when students successfully use something they have learned in a completely new setting, whether that's a similar situation or one that's completely distant. So the crucial point is that Stern gives us the practical tools to help kids take an idea straight out of a history book, like our earlier example about power and conflict, and apply it to something super relevant today, like a modern environmental campaign. That right there is true transfer.
Which brings us to Section 4, comparing the two approaches, or architect versus interior designer. Let's put these two side by side and see how they collaborate.
Now, I want to reassure you, these two are absolutely not competitors fighting over a construction site. They fundamentally agree on the really critical foundational points. Factual knowledge is necessary. Conceptual teaching doesn't mean we just ditch the facts. Those facts must connect to larger ideas. The relationships between concepts matter. Students have to apply their understanding, and active thinking is 100% required. Both firmly believe that strong, accurate subject knowledge is the non-negotiable starting point for everything else.
Now, what's really interesting here is their main difference. It's actually just a matter of emphasis. On one hand, Erickson's real strength lies in curriculum architecture, overall unit design, and identifying those big picture concepts. On the other hand, Stern zeroes right in on the immediate process of transfer, lesson-by-lesson planning, and specific classroom questioning. Essentially, Erickson designs the overarching unit, and Stern gives you the tools to go teach it today.
All right, moving right along to Section 5, expanding the teaching toolbox, more tools for the build. Because let's face it, every great builder needs more than just a hammer.
Our explainer introduces this incredible supporting cast of educational theorists who provide specialized tools for our build. We've got Wiggins and McTighe offering backward design, starting with the end goal in mind. David Perkins brings us the flexible use of knowledge, while Jerome Bruner gives us the spiral curriculum, where kids revisit ideas at deeper and deeper levels. We also see Joseph Novak's concept mapping to visually link ideas. Oh, and James Nottingham's learning pit, which is that space where students actively grapple with uncertainty to build a much stronger, deeper understanding.
I also want to shine a special spotlight on Ron Richhart's visible thinking routines. We're talking about things like see, think, wonder, think, pair, share, claim, support, question, connect, extend, challenge, and what makes you say that? These routines perfectly support Erickson's inductive approach by having students examine examples to find patterns. At the same time, they completely support Stern's work by making a student's internal reasoning visible. It's a total game changer because it makes it so much easier for us as teachers to see exactly how concepts are connecting in their heads in real time.
And that brings us to our final section, Section 6, the combined classroom model, the ultimate build. This is the big payoff, where we synthesize all these pedagogical theories into something you can use tomorrow. Let's move to our model and see how this builds. This is a highly practical chronological sequence. Step 1, identify your concepts using Erickson's macro framework. Step 2, decide what evidence will actually show understanding using Wiggins and McTighe's backward design. Step 3, have students compare carefully selected examples to find patterns. Step 4, make their reasoning visible with Rich Hart's routines. Step 5, ask students to express the relationships between these concepts. And finally, Step 6, apply transfer tasks using Stern's strategies, challenging them with both similar and completely distinct contexts. Just like that, the architect, the interior designer, and our specialized tools have created the absolute perfect lesson structure. But as we know, even the most beautiful blueprints needs a final inspection before anyone moves in. Your final assessment needs to focus on 4 specific areas. First, factual accuracy. You got to get the bricks right. Second, the quality of their conceptual explanation. Third, their use of supporting evidence. And fourth, their ability to adapt that understanding to a totally new context. If they hit all 4 of those marks, true conceptual understanding has for sure been achieved.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are your students just memorizing the facts, or are they building the concepts to change the future? When we combine the macro architecture of Erickson with the micro transfer tools of Stern, and then sprinkle in the visible thinking and backward design of our supporting theorists, we are not just teaching a syllabus. No way. We are empowering our students to recognize patterns, apply evidence, revise their thinking, and understand totally unfamiliar situations. We are giving them the tools to build a better future. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today, and keep building those great classrooms.